Hi there, students. You know this structure, the more something, the more something else. So, for example, the more you work, the more you earn. Okay? So, notice the comparative, and then you need a noun, and then that's followed by a verb, but the verb isn't always necessary. Let me give you some more examples. The greater the quality, the higher the price. So notice in these two sentences, the verb is. The greater the quality is. This is optional. You could say it, you don't have to. The higher the price is, or the higher the price will be. So in this case, the greater the quality, the higher the price. By reading between the lines, we understand that in this case the verb is. The faster you drive, the more petrol the car consumes. Okay, so in this case, the faster you drive, the higher the petrol consumption of the engine is. Okay, so the comparative noun or noun verb, the verb may be understood. The comparative are again noun and maybe a verb. The harder they come, the harder they fall. The harder they come, the harder they fall, one and all. Okay, so the harder they come, the harder they fall. The more you study, the more your English improves. Okay, so there is another example with this. The later the hour, the more tired I become. So notice, the later the hour is, but we don't use the is. It's not necessary. We know it's there. And this is reading between the lines. The more tired I become. Or maybe you see people in the bar. So the more they drink, the drunker they get. Okay, yeah. So the more alcohol, the drunker. And here I've taken out the verbs, but you can understand them. And it has this same idea. So very often we just say the comparative noun, the comparative noun. The tastier the food is, but it's not necessary. The higher the reputation. Okay, so if the food's very tasty, the cook has a very good reputation. The tastier the food, the higher the reputation is, the higher the reputation will be. Okay, so the higher the reputation, that person will gain. Okay, so with this, I think one of the problems with this structure is the fact that very often we leave out the verb and we let the listener imagine the verb. The more advanced the level, the more difficult the English. So the more advanced the level that we do is, but all of that isn't said, the more difficult the English becomes. The more difficult the English is to understand. Okay? So the higher the level, the more difficult the English. And what makes this difficult is leaving out the verbs, and you need to read between the lines and make your own assumptions as to the verbs that are valid within this context. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating. The more ratings, the better. The more ratings that I get, the better the situation is for me. Yeah, okay. And in this case, I've even missed out the noun. The more ratings, the better. The more, the better. Okay, in this case, I've missed the both the subject and the verb in both cases. So, yes, if you enjoyed the video, give it a rating. Subscribe to my channel. The more subscribers, the happier your teacher is. And I'll see you soon. So, take care. Bye for now. The more, the more. The comparative, the comparative.